You know what we usually recommend? Everyone should get themselves a nurse, even if it is just a friend. Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Lois Odur, and so today I wanted to talk about dating, and that is dating as a nurse or dating as a nursing student, because more or less usually just the same. And so I wanted to talk to you guys on how it is like dating as a nurse, and also things that someone should consider before dating a nurse, because at times you might see him or her behaving in some way and you might just think she's going kind of cuckoo. No, it is just like, can I say, part of the job, because there's some things that we go through that make us behave in some way, and at times some people may not understand because they think it is your personality, but it is at times maybe the kind of college or maybe the job that is making you to behave that way. So let's get into the video. The first thing is that nurses are always busy, like busy, always busy. These guys even work on holidays, and on those special days that you think it is your anniversary, that's when she's going for night shift. Yeah, they're that kind of busy. So at times you might have just to understand them, because let's say you're dating, let's say, a nursing student. These guys just don't have time to be moving around. Like, you just can't be calling someone and saying, oh, I want to take you out. This guy will tell you that I'm really busy, like I have an assignment today, tomorrow I'll be having class at 8, I won't be having any other time, the classes will be from 8 to 5, after that I'll be going for clinicals, we're supposed to be moving I don't know where. Like, these people are just always busy, and most of the time you'll always think that they don't have time for you. But what I'd like to tell nurses is that you should not take advantage of this, because I usually see so many guys, like, they take advantage of the fact that they're busy, so they don't create time for their loved ones. So because you always have the mind that we nurses are always busy, some of we nurses, we take advantage of that and just postpone everything in life. You know, you must be able to accommodate the other part of life, because yes, you have to work, and work is part of life, but just know that that is not the only thing that life caters. Like, there's so much beautiful things in life, like having that family, having that relationship. It is like another part of life, and we should never ignore that. So most of the time, what people actually say people should do, you should try and create time. Let's say you could not manage it on a Thursday, you could not manage that date on Thursday, so you should try and schedule it with that person. Schedule it so that at least it can go to Saturday when you're free. Like, don't just be the kind of person when you're called, oh, me, I'm busy, I'm having assignments, I have clinicals, I don't know what, and blah 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 blah. Like, yes, you understand, you all have that, but you should know that whenever you start dating, whenever you bring this person to your life, you should be able to create time for them. So what you should do, pick a day that is comfortable with you, because even when you go for clinicals, you know, we usually don't go there like the whole entire week. We usually have a day off. So find a day and pick a day and confirm it with that person, so that on that day they know that that is the day that you're going to meet them. So you should just create time, because yes, you know you are busy, but you should just try to create time. And even for those who are dating nurses, like, you should just be patient with these guys, because most of the time they'll always create these excuses, and at times you look at them and be like, what kind of a human being am I dating? Because they're just always like, they're not always there. I usually see so many of my friends who are dating, like, most of the time you just break up because the other person can't understand why each and every time they call, you are not always available, like you are always busy. So these guys just learn to be patient with you, because most of the time you'll always be complaining, but even if they are being patient with you, you should always try and create it. Like, even if it is not about the going to visit them, always try and make calls, and there are just some tiny little things that will tell someone that even if, yes, you are busy, but you still care about them. The second thing is that nurses are always tired and they're always complaining, and I think this is due to the long shifts, and also there's too much burnout, because you might even be going for a shift for even 10 hours, and during that 10 hours you've really done a lot of work. You've been studying the entire time, you've been up and down, you can't even remember the last time you sat down, you can't even remember the last time you took a sip of water, and you're just so tired. So most of the time they'll come home looking really tired and looking really messed up. Actually see these memes of when nurses get out of their shifts and they look, I don't know, they look so weird, or like they look like scarecrows. So most of the time, because they'll come home really tired, you really just have to, like, understand. Like, I know you have to get home and do these other things like the wifely duties and all those kind of things, but at times you should just really understand and take them slow. And they'll always be complaining. They'll come and complain about what their nurse in charge did to them. They'll come and complain the government is not even paying them, and they're not paid, and they're suffering, and this is done to them. Their hospital does not. That person will come and complain with like everything that is happening in that hospital. They'll come and start complaining about those all, like the entire thing to you. And at times you look at them and you're like, oh, how does that even concern me? But at times, what I usually say, just listen to them, because they won't stop talking. They won't stop talking, I'm telling you. So just listen to them and just like accommodate them, because if you don't, they'll start now pushing that anger to you, and you just know how they are. So you just accommodate them and you allow them to like take a rest and take their time. And even if that is it, now for nurses, like if you're dating and you're a nurse, or if you are married and you're a nurse, you should just try and know that when you get home, like that is another different environment, and there's some things that you are supposed to be doing. Because most of the time you find that not because you're tired every day, you feel like you're tired, so you're just used to it, that in that house every day it is the maid who cooks, it is the maid who does everything for your husband and for your children, because yes, I'm always tired. So that is something that most of us usually do wrong. And I usually say, even if you're tired, like at times just create some gestures. Like, even if some things are really small but they really matter and people usually ignore them. Something as small, even if that maid is the one who cooked, something as small as taking that meal to your husband yourself, or something as small as tucking in your children to bed, like it can really like make a really big difference, and people don't realize it. So even if you're really tired, there's some days that even like there's days that you have your days off. Like when you find such days, don't just take it as time to go and do all the things and find another work so that you can get more and more tired. So such kind of days, you can just find some time and just really like stay home that day. Just say you're the one who is making the meal for the family. Like if you really want to keep the family, I know I'm not married, but I mean this kind of things really get to my head, that someone just gets home and they don't care about like the family because I'm working. Yes, you know you're working, but just try and know that that is a different environment. Like you can't treat the way you treat people at work. When you come home, you have your family, your children are looking at you. So just try and also come in, like just try and bring the family mood in, even if you're from work. I hope you're getting me. The third thing is that nurses talk a lot. Like they really talk a lot. Like personally, I think after I joined nursing school, that's when I realized that I can really talk. I can even talk for 10 hours non-stop. Like talking is just, can I say talking part of the job? Because you know, we usually talk a lot when we're at work, because you're talking to these patients like each and every minute. You're talking to them. Maybe if you're admitting the patient, you are talking, you are asking questions. The time that the patient's there, you're asking, how have you been? Like you are used to talking so much. So when you get home, you even forget like you are talking in the hospital, and you're here at home, you're bringing back the same energy. Like you just love to talk. Like literally you just love to talk. And that's why I'm saying, even if not dating, you should always have a nurse as a friend, because they're this kind of people whom, like when you want someone to talk to, like yes, they're the kind of people, like they'll always be there to talk and advise you, and talk to you and advise you and fill you with all their advices. So we always like, we love talking. So at times the talking might get so too much and it seems a little bit boring. So at times when someone talks too much and you feel like, kwani ilikuwa ni ndege ama nini, like at times they talk really much. So you should just accommodate that. And times even if they're talking, just listen to it. Even if you're not listening to it, just assume you're listening to it, because I told you, if you start acting like you don't want to listen to it, you'll still be in trouble. Number 4 is that at times you're usually in a bad mood. Like not all the time, but at time we're usually in a bad mood, because let me give you an example. There's this patient who keeps on giving you a hard time. Every time at work, they keep on giving you a hard time. Like they're always so demanding. Like there are these patients who are extra demanding, and at times you just develop some anger, and you go home, you feel like you are in a mood, like you are really in a bad mood. And then at times, even when you get home and then you find there are other things that are trying to bring you anger, like sometimes you might even explode. So you must just know how to control your anger, because when you can't control it at work, you'll come and displace it to someone else. That's how you find that some people who get angry when they're at work, they come back at home, they really beat their wives, they beat their children, like they start breaking everything, they break windows, all because they had that anger from when at work, because maybe that patient was giving them hard time. You can't beat up a patient, because that guy will look for a lawyer and will be locked up. So because you have to retain that anger, when you go home, at times people might still displace the anger to someone else. So you must learn how to control that anger, so that when you get home, you just don't place your anger on everyone, because you might find someone who is dating, and then whenever they experience this kind of stresses, because at times the stress can even be, let's say for the nursing students now, you are in college, and then there's this lecturer who is giving you a really hard time. Every time you go and let's say take your research to them, they are always denying it, and they're always taking you back, and you develop anger. There's this student who is giving you a really hard, like you really have that anger. So at times this is the kind of student who you'll text them and start telling them, hi, you, like I tried calling you, you never received my call. Hey, with all that anger that that person has, like they displace it to you, and they'll be like, mimi hata sikutaki tuachane nini nini. Because of the anger, you find that at times you really make really bad decisions. So you must just try and develop, like create mechanisms for you to be able to avoid letting all this anger get into you, because when it gets to you, you might really try and bring it out to someone else in a way that you never expected it. And if so, let's say now you're dating a nurse, and you know, like you can feel, because if you know someone, you can feel if they have a bad day. So if you feel like today like wasn't a good day for them, instead of starting complaining only because they did not do this and this, you call them and they did not receive that call, you should just start by like asking what was wrong, and you make the atmosphere clear first, so that you can bring the other things. Because if you bring it and they bring that anger, like you're going to be shana. Yes. The fifth thing is that nurses are usually so ready to listen. Like if you've ever had a friend who's a nurse, like you can testify to this, they're usually so ready to listen to someone. And this, I think it is because of you've gained it over time, because most of the time you find that a character that you have or a way that you behave usually comes after a certain experience. Because you find that in the hospital, you usually just have to listen to people each and every, not even each and every day, like each and every hour you have to listen to someone, because this client or this patient will be calling you, and at times they don't even want to talk to you even about the condition, they just want someone to talk to. And so you find that when you do this each and every time, you find that it becomes like part of you. You're usually just ready to listen. And so you find that this will not now only happen in the hospital, even when it comes to their friends and it comes to their relationships and those kind of stuff, they're usually just ready to listen. And that's why I'm telling you, you should have one, even if it's as a friend, because they're usually so ready to listen. You can talk to them like anytime. Like for me personally, like I usually just find it, like if someone wants to talk to me, like I usually find it that I'm so intrigued, like I just want to know like what's wrong, like what's happening. Yeah, you get me? So if you're dating a nurse, or if you want to date a nurse, these are just some of the things that you should know. But these are things that you should know depending on the work environment. But when it comes to dating, they're like so much more, because other things will come depending on personality. Because yes, at times it might be because I'm busy and I'm tired, but if I have the personality to know that I have to be there for someone, then that will be different. But you find that there's someone who has a personality of I don't care, and then it will look different. So these are just like for general, but just know that when it comes to the individual, it will be a little bit different, because even if nursing is what combines us, there's also something that calls an individual personality, and that can make some difference. So I hope this video was of help to you, and thank you for watching this video. See you on my next video. Bye bye.